I have faith in you, babe. I do.
It's the faith that my mom and my family have in me, more than the faith I have in myself, that keeps me going.
Ever wonder how a peaceful daughter of the woods became the center of a legal storm? Rain Brown's name lit up courthouse monitors faster than wildfire smoke. The same young woman who once filled Instagram with puppy selfies and psalm quotes found herself in handcuffs, accused of smashing antique glass and forcing her way into a shuttered cabin. What secret desperation drove her from forest refuge to neon-lit cell block? Rain's transition from Alaskan innocence to headline shocker happened in a heartbeat. On April 11th, under a bruised twilight sky, deputies cuffed her and husband Josiah Lorton for alleged first-degree burglary, malicious mischief, and trespass. Just months earlier, Rain's wedding post drew cheers from 500,000 followers. Now the booking sheet read like a crime thriller. Fans scratched their heads. How did the daughter of the beloved Bush People franchise end up behind steel doors? Born amid chainsaws and cedar beams in November 2002, Rain was the last spark in Billy and Amy Brown's brood. By age 11, Discovery cameras captured her splitting kindling and whispering makeshift prayers. Viewers adored her as the heartwarming symbol of survival. But every flame cools. After her father's seizure in 2021 and the show's cancellation in 2022, Rain's social feed darkened. A February 2024 caption, "When the sky breaks, it breaks you first," hinted at unseen fractures. Few outsiders grasped the remoteness of North Star Ranch, rebuilt on scorched land after a wildfire claimed the original homestead. Billy's vision was an off-grid haven for healing and legacy, but the bills piled up. Rerun royalties dried. Insurance only covered charred beams, not lost revenue. Rain once echoed her father's creed, live free or die. But freedom comes with a price tag. That price surfaced in whispers of a busted lakeside cabin. Investigators allege Rain and Josiah shattered windows, spilled debris, and trashed heirloom jars worth over $25,000. Supporters counter that Rain was retrieving stalled paperwork from a former manager she accused of pocketing $43,000. Who's telling the truth? With a sealed affidavit guarding the details, speculation spread like wildfire among fan forums and tabloid blogs. By dawn on April 14th, the couple walked free on personal recognizance. Yet Rain's reputation lay fractured. Two camps formed online. One decried the charges as grief-driven desperation. The other saw suppressed rebellion erupting into crime. Between their fierce debates, a third narrative emerged. Fame and loss can warp judgment the way a polar night warps perception. Behind the headlines, Rain's world was measured in sapling rings and river currents, not dollar signs and stock tickers. Yet she's no stranger to financial reality. After the show ended, she waited tables at a rustic diner in Chilean Washington, alongside fiancé Josiah, himself a self-made head chef. Together, they carved out a humble lifestyle. A 1998 Toyota Tacoma they share for dusty backroad runs, a single opal ring carving from a Utah trip, and a hand-me-down watch he wears on evenings off. Real estate remains Rain's biggest asset. The 120-acre North Star Ranch and a disused lakeside cabin they hope to convert into a faith-based retreat. No private jet in sight, yet. Their biggest investments are time and sweat equity, renovating log walls and digging trenches for solar panels. Rain tapped rerun royalties to cover wildfire insurance and property liability coverage, guarding against another tragedy like the one that claimed her childhood home. Josiah, too, protects his livelihood. As head chef, he carries a business insurance policy that shields against kitchen accidents and liability claims, critical when you're known for cooking over alderwood flames. Their combined health coverage comes through a small business plan they manage themselves, a stark contrast to the corporate safety nets enjoyed by A-list actors. Despite modest means, the Browns know wealth isn't just dollars in a bank. Rain's journal entries, later leaked, reveal a financial philosophy: diversify income streams, protect assets, and stay lean during boom years. She plans to launch handcrafted soap bundles and guided bush cuisine weekends, aiming to trade viral fame for sustainable passion projects. Luxury to Rain means creative freedom, not exotic cars. Her dreams are penny-royal retreats, not private jets. Meanwhile, Discovery executives, who once bankrolled $500,000 per episode budgets, now monitor this saga from afar. Sponsors paused promos, tabloid keyboards clicked into overdrive, but Rain insists, love doesn't need a sponsor, but love needs money. Her financial journey is a lesson in resilience. Guard what matters, invest in skills, and never let a contract define your worth. Amid the chaos, Rain's voice remains rooted in spirituality. In her cell, she whispered scripture. Outside the courthouse, she reminded reporters, "Judge not, lest you be judged." Powerful words that echo a deeper. Now, as Rain and Josiah brace for court, their future hangs on more than legal verdicts. They're a living case study in modern celebrity survival, facing public scrutiny, sculpting new income paths, and balancing dramatic headlines with the simple truths of apples, elk, and faith. One question remains: can they rebuild North Star Ranch and their reputations from the shattered glass of a single night? It wasn't just a legal war, it was a slow erasure of Rain's very identity. From wilderness icon to internet pariah, the fall was brutal and public. Rain, once praised for skinning fish with bare hands and building shelters in blizzards, now found herself navigating icy silence from a world she'd once inspired. But here's where the story takes a turn no one expected. Instead of hiding, she began writing. Late into the night, under kerosene light, she drafted a memoir. My name is Rain, and I was born into a storm. The opening line alone sent shivers through the few who read her early pages. Could this story, once steeped in shame, become her redemption? Financially, the storm hit harder than any blizzard the Browns had survived. Rain's net worth, once estimated at $300,000 from reality royalties, product partnerships, and endorsements, plummeted. McGowan's siphoning, mounting legal fees, and the collapse of sponsorships left her with barely $50,000 in liquid assets by mid-May. The Browns sold off unused equipment, a snowmobile fleet, and even solar panels just to keep their utilities running. But here's the jaw-dropper. Legal analysts now predict if Rain turns her case into a documentary or best-selling memoir, her net worth could rebound past $2 million within 3 years. Redemption stories sell, especially when they're wrapped in real scars. The hooks kept coming. One anonymous letter arrived at North Star Ranch with only 7 words scribbled in black ink. The mountain knows more than it says. Was it a threat? A clue? A piece of fan fiction? No one knew, but it fueled a new TikTok theory that Rain was being silenced by former Discovery execs trying to bury mismanagement. Another wild rumor surfaced that Netflix, after months of silence, was negotiating a docuseries deal covering the trial in real time. One producer claimed, "This isn't just scandal, this is survival drama with teeth." As whispers mounted, Rain's brother Bam Bam released an unfiltered video diary. "We never asked to be famous," he said, eyes glassy. "But now that we are, We won't let them rewrite our story." The video went viral. Overnight, the hashtag #StandWithRain trended globally. Strangers mailed canned goods, handmade crosses, and over $12,000 in donations. Even a retired judge in Arizona penned an op-ed in The Atlantic, warning that Rain's case could redefine the public's perception of justice in America's post-reality TV landscape. But perhaps the most heartbreaking moment came days before the trial. Rain found an old audio tape labeled "Dad's Sermon," never aired. She played it late one evening. Billy's voice, gravelly and warm, echoed through the cabin. "The mountain don't judge. It watches. It waits. But when it speaks, you better listen." Rain wept. Not because she missed her father, though she did, but because for the first time she understood what he meant. Her life wasn't just about proving innocence. It was about reclaiming the voice stolen from her. Hooks grew sharper. Legal blogs began asking, what if Rain's arrest was a misfire in a much larger land grab? A leaked zoning map showed increased real estate activity within 5 miles of North Star Ranch. Developers, it seemed, had circled the property like vultures, hoping bad press might make a sale easier. Gabe slammed his fist on the table when he saw the map. "They want our name, our legacy, our land." But the Browns didn't break. Rain didn't vanish. Instead, she lit another fire. Literally. On the eve of her trial, surrounded by siblings and supporters, she set a beacon on the ridge again. This time, it wasn't about signaling danger. It was about declaring presence. As the fire roared, she turned to her mother and whispered, "If they erase me from the screen, I'll carve my story in stone." Rain Brown may be fighting for her freedom, but she's already reclaimed something more powerful: her narrative. And whether the verdict ends in prison time or public apology, one thing is clear: the mountain is speaking now, and the world is finally listening.